Good afternoon. It's April 13th, 2020. I hope everyone had a nice Easter weekend. Our COVID numbers in the state are up quite a bit to 868, still with 6 deaths. Cottington County, though, is stable, still with a total of 12 cases and still showing that we have 11 recovered. These numbers show that the measures that we have taken are working. All people meeting the symptom criteria should get tested for COVID-19, but because testing supplies are short, not everyone qualifies to be tested. The healthcare providers will determine if you meet the criteria for testing, so please call first before going in to be tested for COVID. Even though everyone has been asked to stay home, Easter weekend often brings family members together. People who traveled or had guests may have been exposed to someone who is infected with COVID. The CDC has published guidelines for what people who may have been exposed should do. Symptoms should be monitored for 14 days. If you traveled or had guests, you should take your temperature daily. Don't go to work or go out and about into the public if you have a temperature of 100.4 or greater. Cover your mouth and nose with a face cloth when out in public or at work. Leave the medical grade masks for the healthcare workers. Go home if you are at work or away from home and you start to feel sick. Call your healthcare provider if you have a fever over 100.4, a dry cough, or shortness of breath. Practice social distancing of 6 feet at all times. Don't congregate in the break room at work, and continue to wash your hands frequently and disinfect surfaces regularly. These things are easy to do, and we should all do them, whether we think we've been exposed to COVID or not. Remember, when we follow these simple practices, we're protecting others. When others do this, they're protecting us. Our unified efforts will lessen the impact of COVID-19 on our town. Our efforts are working, and we need to stay strong for one another. We will get through this together. And now I would like to introduce Brenda Hanton, the chairman of the Cottington County Commission.
Thank you, Mayor Karen, and good afternoon, everyone. Just a slight update as to what and how we are conducting business on the county side. Our Cottington County Commission meetings are now mostly done via teleconference, and citizens who want to address the commission are welcome to call in during the meeting, and they will get a call back during the open portion of our meeting. The numbers that they can call are 882-6297 and 882-6288. The commission meetings are also streamed live on YouTube. You can search YouTube by Cottington County and look for the relevant date as to when that meeting is held. They are also archived, so you can go back and watch those as well. The courthouse does remain open. Remains closed, but our employees are still working. Obviously today, if you've tried called, it is Easter Monday, and it is closed totally to our workers because that was previously something before the COVID had come up that was going to be a planned closure. Tomorrow, though, if you need to do any business countywide, they can call the office in which relates to what business they want to have done. And I would encourage everyone also to go to our Cottington County webpage, which is cottington.org. And at the top of that webpage, we have made it a little simpler that you can click on a tab as to, there's 2 of them, one that will list the offices and what business you can do while on that page and their phone number. And then the other one is relevant to just COVID in general and different information pertaining to that. So with that, then you can call those phone numbers and complete your business that needs to be done. We're encouraging via mail and email as as a proper way to do things now. You probably have all heard about this morning, the Secretary of State's office will be sending out applications in relation to the June 2nd, 2020 primary election. As of now, that is still in process. Voters will then complete those applications and need to mail them back to the auditor's office. If anyone has any questions or concerns when trying to fill those applications out, please call the auditor's office, and that number is 882-6297. Something else that's been happening is there has been a county task force that has been organized, and I'm going to list the individuals and the relating communities that they're from. So if any individuals from these communities need anything, if there's any unmet needs or something, this would be the contact person in their area. So for Waverly South Shore Superintendent relating to schools, and also the town of South Shore Mayor, that contact person is John Meyer. His number is 881-5036. You can also call 756-4425. For the town of Kransburg, that individual is Dale Plunkett. His number is 237-9294. For the Meadow Lake Assisted Living Center is Chastity Chandler, and her number is 880-0960. The town of Wallace is Al Keller. His number is 758-2561. The Florence Superintendent is Mitch Reed. His number is 228-5336. The town of Florence is Pearl Paulson. Her number is 868-4403. In the town of Henry, the mayor, Don Larson. His number is 881-4467. I would like to thank these individuals for agreeing to be the point of contact person for these smaller communities. And hopefully we can address all of those needs in our outlying areas that come up and any concerns. So with that, thank you all and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Mayor Karen and Brenda. Are there any questions from the media?
Mayor, this is Mike at KWAT. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine, thanks.
Okay, good. The number of infections in Cottington County hasn't changed in a week, and there's only one active case right now in the county. Does that, I don't want to suggest that you're thinking about the ban on business openings, but are we trending in the direction where it maybe makes you start to think at least about when businesses could reopen, or is it still too early for that?
Actually, thank you for that question. I am thinking about when we can reopen, but it's too soon to start talking about, doing that right now. We have a couple of hurdles to get through. I think that probably there were a lot of people that traveled this past weekend, and we'll start to see some cases showing up within the next 2 weeks from that kind of exposure. Plus, we're just at the beginning of the construction season now, and we're going to see construction crews starting to work, and they are often inviting people from far and wide to come work, and we don't have any control over that. So there's likely to be an influx of new people into our community, and we just don't know what impact that will have. I hope it doesn't have an impact, but it's likely there will be some sort of impact. So yes, we're thinking about it. I'm not going to broadcast that if we have a certain small number of cases, or if we've gone 4 weeks or whatever, we'll do something different. I think it's too soon to do that.
And then a quick follow-up in regard to the business closures. I've been contacted, Mayor, by a couple of owners of gyms or fitness clubs, and they asked me a question that I said I would relay to you. they are wondering why a tanning business is being allowed to be open under the condition that they have 10 or fewer people in the business at any given time, when they say they can follow those same rules and conditions, but are not being allowed to reopen. Can you explain or answer as to why that is?
Well, the closures were categorical, and we looked at businesses that attracted people for recreational purposes, and the tanning businesses weren't specifically called out, and I actually don't know what else might go on in that type of business, but it wasn't explicitly called out. And if the council had to do it over again and discussed it, maybe they would be called out. But at this point, I think those are generally the type of a business where someone would come in and be alone the entire time and then leave and not occupy shared space with others. Whereas in a gym, if you're working out, you're breathing deeply and you're in the same space with other people. You have no control if other people are coming into your space or not. You could have a number of people in relatively close proximity that are exercising and taking deep breaths. And I just, I don't want to try and examine and determine each type of situation that could be a risk, but clearly there's a risk to both of those businesses because people come in. But I think there is a slight differentiation. They're not the same kind of business.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us today. Have a great week.